Okay, Grimm's fairy tales. It's not exactly your, your great grandmother's slice of cake. Okay, it's you got Snow White. She's 7 years old. You get Hansel and Gretel. Mom just fucking taking them out in the woods to starve to death. You get the juniper tree. The mom fucking chops the. It's not fun. It's horrible. The step kid's head off. He reaches in the chest to get some candy, pops his head clean off, and then chops him up into little pieces, and then makes a little pudding, gives it to his father, and his father's eating them and asks for seconds, asks for more. And the sister's crying the whole time. She knows all about it. She's crying up a storm. She thinks she did it. The mom actually said, after she did it, she set the body up and set it in the living room. Sister comes in and sees the apple in her hand, says, "Hey, give me that apple." And brother didn't say nothing. She goes, "Mom, I said give me the apple, and he didn't. He just stared at me. I don't understand." It's like, well, tell him to give you the apple, and if he doesn't say anything again, punch him in the head. She goes, "Give me that apple." He's dead, right? He's getting decapitated. So the boy is just sitting there with the apple in his hand. And she goes over there and punches him in the head. And the head pops off, and she thinks she does it. So the father's sitting there eating, and they say pudding, but there's also bones. So some sort of pudding with bones, I don't know. But he has a pile of bones after he's finished eating it. And then they bury the bones come back to life. He turns into a bird, comes back, and he's victorious. So I don't want to... It's reading Rainbow, right? I don't want to ruin the ending of that story. The juniper tree. So check out the juniper tree. It's a Grimm's fairy tale. There's this crack.com. They've selected a couple of them. I'm going to read this one here. This is a Scottish the Scottish Snow White involves attempted cannibalism and ends in a three-way. Okay. So the Scottish Snow White. So this is Snow White, right? So the version we heard, the evil queen desires to be the most beautiful. She has a stepdaughter, tries to get her killed. She hides with all the, with the seven dwarfs, and then tries to poison her with an apple. And then the dwarves push her off the fucking cliff, and then she gets to be more beautiful. So really it's just about jealousy of who's more beautiful. So she poisons Snow White with an apple, but Snow White is revived by the kiss of a handsome prince. Then the queen gets herself ghosted, and everybody lives happily ever after. In the Scottish version, a shamelessly vain queen named Silvertree learns from a trout, right, like a fish, in a well. So a vain queen named Silvertree, her name is Silvertree, that her stepdaughter Goldtree, which clearly Goldtree, she already has a better name. Weird how they have similar names, right? One, you got Silvertree and Goldtree, and this is Snow White. So Goldtree is Snow White and pure snow, right? That's how white her skin was. It was like pure snow. A shamelessly vain queen named Silvertree learns from a trout in the well that her stepdaughter Goldtree ranks several notches higher on the beauty scale, putting way more stock in a fish's opinion than any grown person should. The evil queen pretends to be deathly ill and tells her husband, the king, that the only thing that can cure her is eating the heart and liver of their daughter. So, that's the king. King, I bet he was a little shocked to hear that one, right? And it's not even the step, it's the queen, okay? So, or it says stepdaughter, but then it says the queen. Goldtree, Silvertree, the king. I mean, they have the same name, so they're probably. I thought they would be related, but apparently, I don't know. Sometimes the brothers Grimm, Jacob and Wilhelm, they would actually change the mother to the stepmother so it doesn't sound so heinous. But it's a good lesson to learn. So when Hansel and Gretel, when the mother just takes Hansel and Gretel out in the woods to die, you learn not to trust your mother. If you have no food in the house, that could save your life. That's a story that could save your life. You have no food in the house. Your mom starts looking at the last piece of bread and starts looking at you, and then says, "Hey, let's go for a little walk out in the woods. Where we're going, all you'll see." No, you're going to tell me right now. You're going nowhere with you until you tell me where we're going. I'm not going. No, I'm not going to do it. And or the juniper tree, right? So that was a stepson. The son was going to get all the stuff and not her. She hated him. So she, inheritance, right? Jealous of who was going to get the inheritance, so she chopped off his head. And then fed it to him. So killed the kid and then fed it to the, like, woo. Watch out for step parents. If you're, going to inherit a lot of money and you'll be taking care of a step mother who ain't going to get shit, she going to try to get her somehow. So, and yes, greed make an animal of anybody. So it's good lessons, right? We learn. Now we're learning with the Snow White jealousy. Jealousy is a motherfucker. It can lead people to, to be bloodthirsty murderers. So the king, understandably living in perpetual fear of his wife's irrationally blazing craziness, instead sends the daughter off to be married to a prince because it's just that easy. Feeds the evil queen, Silver Tree, the vital organs of a goat. So the king, you want to eat our daughter? That's what the fuck you just said. We're going to eat the daughter. That's what's going to ail what, that is what's going to aid what ails you. That's going to help you. All right, give me a fucking break. So, eating the heart and liver of the daughter. Just because it says that she was more beautiful. And so she's like, oh, I'm about to die. She's deathly ill, and the only thing that can save her is eating the heart and liver of the daughter. And that's taken serious. And, when a queen says, hey, I want to eat the heart and liver of the daughter, of your daughter, or our daughter, one of the daughters, just some daughter, that's something that was taken serious back in Grimm, back in Germany. So this is the barbarians, right? Barbar, that's why they called them barbarians. Barbar, they can't talk right. That's how they talk, barbar. So the king, one up in science and medical, prowess of the day, the medical consensus. He gives the vital organs of a goat to her, and then he sends her off to go to marry a prince, right? Hey, prince, got a wife for you. The evil queen calls on the fish again and finds out that the girl's alive, but fish, because fish can't keep the goddamn mouth shut. So the fucking fish says, hey, that daughter's more beautiful than you. Then the fish says, hey, that woman's still alive. What the fuck is up with this fucking trout? So she leaves to finish the job, tracking down the stepdaughter. This is Silver Tree, looking for Gold Tree. Jabbing her with the poison needle. Finds her, stabs her with the poison needle. Then, when he finds her lifeless body, I guess the king, the grief-stricken prince, it's prince. The grief-stricken prince steals her up in a room instead of, calling the doctor. Never to be opened again. Never to be opened again. So he puts her in a room. The prince finds dead gold tree, and jabbed with the poison needle. And he's like, oh man, she's dead. So he throws her in a room and locks the room, keeps her in the room, never opens it. The prince remarries. I guess he didn't take anything of it. And the second wife goes into Gold Tree's room and discovers her dusty old corpse. And the second wife plucks the poison needle out of the body of Gold Tree, and Gold Tree immediately springs back to life. Something that, in retrospect, the prince probably should have tried. And here's our favorite part. The prince, now with 2 fully functioning wives, boldly exclaims, I shall have both of you. And the 2 women are totally okay with this. Yes, that's the story. Happily ever after is a threesome. So that's the story of Gold Tree. Gold Tree and a weird ass fucking prince and his wife. So So the moral, don't be selfish, ladies. There's plenty of prince to go around. That's what we learned from that story, okay? In Germany's The Tortoise and the hare dies horribly. So the version you've heard, The Tortoise and the Hare, the tortoise slow and steady wins the race. The hare dicks around, ends up losing, right? So steady, diligent, hard worker beats a naturally talented asshole every time. But when the German authors Jacob and Wilhelm Grimm adopted the tale, they decided it should take a darker turn. So instead of a tortoise, it's a hedgehog. So you got a hedgehog and a rabbit. The pair agree that whoever wins the race gets a bottle of brandy and a gold coin. So they're using alcohol as currency, plus they're getting gold. Right out the gate, the writers decided that both of these woodland creatures needed to have reached the stage of alcoholism where they treat liquor as currency. Spoiler, all this is going to culminate in the hare bleeding profusely from the neck. This is not a joke. After the bet, a hedgehog runs home to his wife and dresses her up so they look exactly alike, which says all sorts of things about their marriage, and takes her with him down to the racetrack. Mrs. Hedgehog hides herself at the finish line while her husband lines up at the starting point next to the hare. When the race starts, the hare easily dusts Mr. Hedgehog, but when Mrs. Hedgehog hears him approaching the finish line, she hops out, crosses it before him, presumably while asking what the heck took him so long. Naturally, the hare's bullshit meter starts buzzing, so he insists that they run the race again. She heartily agrees. Remember, Mr. Hedgehog is still back at the beginning of the course, and they restart the race from the finish line. The same trick works again, since when the hare rounds the track, there's his opponent apparently waiting for him. The hare demands that they race yet again to the same result, and yet the process repeats itself more 70 fucking times. These hedgehog wife and husband and wife keep switching off till finally on the 74th lap, a blood vessel bursts in the hare's throat, and he collapsed in the middle of the racetrack, gurgling out his last confused breath as he drowns in a pool of his own blood. In the middle of the field with blood flowing from his neck, he fell dead to the ground. So the moral, instead of slow and steady wins the race, the moral becomes you can overcome any disadvantage with the magical power of lying. So, lie. That's how if you want to, tortoise and the hare. No, not slow and steady wins. Lie. You trick the fucking more talented. If they're gonna beat you, you gotta trick them. There's no way you're gonna win unless you actually there's some sort of trickery, right? You can overcome any disadvantage with the magical power of lies. Russia's Beauty and the Beast has a suicidal snake monster. Scottish Hansel and Gretel make the monster murder his own family. Hansel and Gretel. Those 5 here. 5 Grimm's fairy tales are way too dark to read to kids. The Girl Without Hands. The 3 Snake Leaves. The Singing Bone, the Hare's Bride. The Singing Bone. The Death of a Little Hen. Oh. This is a short one. The Girl Without Hands. Number 5, a man accidentally trades his daughter to the devil for wealth because that's apparently something you could do by mistake. Maybe he checked the wrong box on the application. Whatever. So he trades his daughter to the devil for wealth. And, oops. Sorry, here's my daughter. Give me some money. But the daughter fights back by washing her hands. She washes her hands, enrages the devil, and prefers everything to be covered in fart dust. Predictably, the devil just has her hands chopped off. So I'm not sure why washing her hands, it pisses him off, but he chops the hands off. However, she cries so much that her blood spouting stumps are washed clean, and the devil throws up his hooves and calls the whole deal off. So he's like, fuck it, I don't want you to be my wife. So I guess that's a lesson. If you're ever forced to marry the devil, wash your hands, tick him off. He'll do something heinous, and then he'll just not even want to fool with the whole thing, and then you win, right? I mean, you lose, you don't have any hands, but you win because you made him mad. Really, that's all you need to do. Anyways, I mean, if you could just piss him off, right? You actually Ooh, you win. You get him, piss him off. Ha ha ha. Look at you. I just made you mad. What you gonna do now, huh? Big man, what you gonna do?